Barry?
What's up, cuz?
I need you to help me handle something. You gotta put him in the bathtub and cut that big mother up.
All right, Oval fans. Now, one question that fans have really been discussing about the show is, with Barry's corpse being left on Kareem's bed for some reason, at the moment, we still don't know who did it and why. You know, all we know is that Kareem went back to his apartment, saw the body, freaked out, went directly back to the pharmacy, as you know, in this week's episode. You know, asked Dale if he knew anything about what was going on without telling Dale what was going on. All we know is that Dale was dumbfounded by the fact that, you know, Kareem, I don't know what's wrong. I went home, went to sleep, got ready to come to work today, and that was it. I didn't go in your room. I didn't take anything. I didn't break anything. But Kareem really didn't explain anything. All he said was, give me your key. And, you know, also he said, I didn't give my key to anyone. I didn't do anything like that. But basically, Kareem just took the key back and said, don't come back to my apartment anymore. And then that was that. Now we have his cousin, who is, according to the episode synopsis for episode 16, is Norman. So Kareem and Norman, you know, are at his apartment going over what's going down. And his cousin basically says, you need to take this body, put it in your tub, and chop it up. And then Kareem's like, oh, shit, no. Like, look, this is one of them times where Oliver from Ruthless would be, you know, integral to this situation, because we know, based on what he did to Lilo, he has no problems with chopping somebody up and throwing them in the trunk. But in this case, it's just one of those situations where Kareem is between a rock and a hard place. As soon as somebody sent me the end credit promo for next week's episode, I'm like, why the hell doesn't he just call somebody? I mean, that seems to be the obvious thing. Kareem just calls somebody, Mr. Richard, just to let him know, hey, your son's here. I don't know how he got here. But there are a couple things with that to have me going, okay, yeah, I kind of get where Kareem's coming from. When, I don't know if y'all ever watched this, but BuzzFeed, Ryan and Shane, they now have their own company called Watcher, but back in the day, they used to work with BuzzFeed, and they had a series called Unsolved. Most people would know them more for their ghost hunting activities on BuzzFeed, Supernatural, but Unsolved, True Crime is one of my favorite series they did when they were still with BuzzFeed. And my mom could probably attest to this too, from all the crime shows and, you know, murder stuff she be watching. It's like, typically whenever someone calls in a body, like I was on my morning jog and I saw a body, or I was coming home from work, parked my car, you know, in the parking lot of my apartment complex. I'm going up the stairs, and then from the stairs, I see a body in the parking lot. Typically, whoever calls the body in or the report to the police, or, you know, the first one, like, who's suspected of, so, you said you were coming home, huh? And you saw this body? You didn't have anything to do with it? So I feel like Kareem probably thought something like that, because think of it this way. Everybody knows there is no love lost between him and Barry. That's the first thing. The body was found in his apartment, in his room, on his bed. Barry left his parents' house, you know, in a rage because of the fact that Kareem was allowed to stay there. So it could have been a situation where they might piece it together, or at least, you know, come up with a theory of, I could see Richard be like, well, I know Barry and Kareem didn't get along, and well, then again, they know how hot-headed Barry was. Look, it seems like an eternity ago, but didn't this boy, when he and Richard stopped by the pharmacy, and I think it was to get Barry to apologize to Sharon or something, or at least apologize to Kareem for fighting him in the pharmacy, because I remember one time they got into a fight and Barry started it, and he was going to go down there to apologize so Kareem wouldn't press charges. And then it got to the point where they were getting out of the truck. Barry saw Kareem and Sharon getting on, and then he literally drove the truck through the front of the pharmacy. So they might be able to say, you know what, we know this boy has an attitude and does reckless stuff, so he possibly went over to Kareem's apartment to, you know, fight over Sharon, and then things got rough and Kareem killed him. That's a possibility. And it wouldn't look good for him. Like, it would be hard to convince people, you know, the people on Barry's side, his parents, probably Sam and Priscilla, it will be hard to persuade them that's not how it went down. But I mean, his only alibi is, I was at the pharmacy all night trying to catch up on work because the pharmacy's been closed for the past couple of days due to, you know, certain things in the White House. And I didn't get home until that morning when Sharon and Dale showed up because they were going to take over for me. So when I got home, the body had been there for I don't know how long. So if they did tests to determine how long he had been dead, you know, this, that, and the third, then it could work out in Kareem's favor. But put it this way. If the administration, and we still don't know who killed him, but let's just say if the administration had anything to do with Barry's death, he's screwed. Because if he called the police or something, and of course, you know, Hunter has the entire law enforcement in his back pocket, they could set it. Here's how it could have went down. A person told me that maybe this was Hunter's way of getting rid of the men in Sharon's life, Barry and Kareem. Kill Barry, plant the body at Kareem's apartment. He gets arrested for it. The two guys going back and forth over her, they're both out of the picture. Hunter's, you know, got her right where he wants her, to himself. That's a possibility. But the thing about it is, now we're in a situation where he has to dispose of the corpse. And I mean, he's probably going to have to get, obviously, new bed sheets and everything. It's like, you don't want to walk into your room and just constantly remember a dead body there. But then again, Hunter still sleeps in the residency, given the fact that Denise had her head chopped off in a bed. So there's that. But I really do feel like we're in a situation where Kareem is in a lose-lose scenario. I mean, will anybody ever find out about his, you know, his death? Will somebody come across the corpse or something? I have no clue. But I just think it's a situation where Kareem is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Do you think he should have called it? I think at the very least he should have, you know, called Richard or, you know, Sam or somebody. I don't know if he has. I think Sam gave him his number in season 1. I could be wrong. It goes back to season 1 where Sam was trying to get Kareem to drop the charges on Barry. He's like, son, it might be helpful to have a powerful person in your corner, because if you do a favor for me now, that means I could do a favor for you later. So that's something he really should have thought about, because this is one of those times where he should have called Sam, if possible, to get some information and tell him, look, I found Barry, but it's not what it looks like. And I guess you could say Dale could also be a person to give his alibi, but it seems the person who did this either did it while Dale was knocked out, sleep, or not long after Dale had left the apartment, kind of like in between the time of Dale leaving the apartment to go pick up Sharon to go to work, or when Dale was still asleep, because like he said, he didn't go in Kareem's room, so he doesn't know what happened. So we'll just have to wait and see. But how do you think this is going to go down with Barry's body? How do you think Kareem's going to get out of this? And that's all I have for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.